Hi everybody, I'm here in a cave and oh man did I screw up or what. I ate some SpaghettiOs in front of a few Italian people and now I'm Italy's most wanted. Again. I'm sure my days are numbered right now, but at least I brought my DS along with me. This is when I realized one of my favorite games features a small aspect of it that bothers me way more than it should. Scribblenauts. You probably know what it is, I know what it is, that guy in the background might even know what it is. It's a simple enough puzzle game that debuted on the DS where you play as Maxwell, a Scribblenaut who was given a magical notebook by his former explorer parents Edgar and Julie, who each give each of their 42 children magical gifts. The game was developed by Fifth Cell, also known for making Drawn to Life, another series that takes advantage of Nintendo hardware to be a cute and charming experience. The biggest difference of the games is that the ending of Scribblenauts had me like this, and Drawn to Life had an ending where it had me like this. Levels consist of solving the problems of anyone you encounter in order to obtain star rights. You do this by summoning the things needed to resolve any issue that comes in front of you, and what makes it so special is that the puzzles have a nearly endless amount of solutions that just depend on the imagination and thinking skills of the player. In the first game, you need to collect them for some reason. I don't know, I couldn't beat the entire game and there's no plot, I think. In the sequel, Super Scribblenauts, it's about the same, but this time you gotta beat your evil doppelganger, who is just the worst. But then, in Scribblenauts Unlimited, you go on an adventure to free Maxwell's sister, Lily, from being turned to stone after he's been abusing his power to summon anything, and then tricks an evil wizard to eat a rotten apple, which therefore turned Lily to stone. This terrible fate was done out of pettiness and nothing else. But at the end of this adventure, it's revealed that Maxwell and Lily's father, Edgar, was the one who turned Lily to stone in order to teach Maxwell about kindness in some stupid parenting, bad parenting sort of way. I wanted to talk about this specifically for a reason. The games themselves are simple enough to comprehend, with every level having you solve a puzzle that's easy enough. As long as you can think of a solution to any issue presented, you can just as easily solve them. Though the way you solve the puzzles, that being with your magical notebook, might unironically be one of, if not the most powerful thing in all of fiction. Well, kind of. I really just wanted to talk about this today, not to emphasize the sheer strength, but instead the pure funny factor of these games. Because when I say virtually anything can be produced, I mean it. For examples, you can give a pterodactyl to a farmer just because you can, and then immediately after shoot a hydrogen bomb with a gun just like that. Maxwell's morals are your morals. The only major limitation of the notebook being the imagination of the user, you can basically do and make whatever you want. Except for alcohol, that's like the only exception. I guess I guess other stuff too, but like stuff I physically cannot describe. Also 99.9% of all copywritten characters as well, except for the DC comic characters. We'll get into that real soon. Though theoretically, Maxwell could just make duplicates of all other gifts his siblings got from the Scribblenaut family, since each of them get a unique gift. Like Lily, for example, has a globe that allows her to quick travel, and Maxwell could easily just make a duplicate. It's a relatively simple weapon in concept, but again, come up with silly shenanigans and you'll get silly shenanigans. It's just so terribly, extremely goofy, haha, woohoo, teehee, that world-ending devices can be produced in seconds with no consequence, and no one can really do anything about it. This notebook alone could let you become ruler of the universe in like 25 minutes without much challenge. And if anyone, like Superman for example, went up to Maxwell and said, "Hey there, scamp, mind not destroying all of reality with that there notebook?" he could just immediately write something like Kryptonite or Superman gun, or flat out just dead Superman, and shabam shaboom, right there is a dead Superman. It's a good thing that when that exact interaction played out in the crossover game, Scribblenauts Unmasked, where Max and Lily decided to go to the DC universe from their own universe, and Maxwell was a good fellow and didn't choose to kill everyone, which is also in fact very cool. The entire crossover provided us with whimsical interactions along with a terrible showcasing of the raw strength behind the notebook, like the ability to summon multiple Supermen or multiple Flashes, and being able to almost effortlessly take down the greatest threats found within the DC universe specifically, all ending with a showdown with their evil doppelganger once again, who also happens to unevel once you give them a sibling. Along with this, in the 18-issue comic coinciding with the game, there's some fun things that happen within it. Namely, in this series, the Anti-Monitor, a DC villain I didn't know about until researching this, I'm sure you're gonna forget about them as soon as I'm done talking about them, causes a big ol' meaty ruckus throughout DCville. Stuff happens, fighting fights, Maxie becomes a Green Lantern for a couple minutes, and just like any major DC crossover of any kind, Batman has to be sad about his backstory just for a little bit. Maxwell survives being torn apart by a black hole by being able to react as fast as the Flash is without any sort of enhancements. Mind you, the Flash reacts at attoseconds, which is that many seconds. That's pretty dang speedy. And after all of this, the anti-monitor wins and evaporates the entire universe. And even then, all the silly Scribble children survive until the end, because this isn't their universe. Remember that they used they went from theirs to over here. That's why they're crossing over. Yep. And yeah, using the power of plagiarism, they saved the day with Maxwell using the power of absolute bullshit. This is by far the worst and most baffling thing this book ever does. So casually, he just writes in his notebook that can summon anything, the one word, everything. And with that, every single atom of the universe is recreated and brought back into existence. So very fun McAwesome sauce on that. There's nothing worth overanalyzing here. It's just universe gone and universe back. Now, of course, with any super character, there's gotta be a few weaknesses, because otherwise, what's the point? And Maxwell, although he has a ton of crazy attributes that make him real hard to kill, like the wiki has a lot to say about the funny man, he's still not entirely invincible unless he deliberately writes that within the notebook to make him immortal and invincible and indestructible and immovable. For one, look at this dude. He looks like a wet Pringle. What even is this? This might be a strength, actually. He looks so icky that people might just fall over and die just looking at him. Plus, he dresses like a dumbass. None of the clothes match, and he's not necessarily a criminal, but the fashion police for sure gotta arrest him. Also, he's just a dumb little kiddo. Like, be nice, walk up to him, and just, like, slap it out of his stupid baby hands. Like, what's he gonna do? Pick it up? He's a dumb little kiddo. Just kick him away or something. Potentially, the biggest weakness of the notebook is that it might rely on starrites to function, like a weird sort of gasoline. In that case, what's the consequence of just making more starrites with the notebook? Unless they, like, cost the same amount of energy to make. Actually, that might just be the reason why Maxwell doesn't make a lot of powerful things, so... Huh. But even then, this dumb little moron has managed to do some things that easily make his strengths definitely outweigh his weaknesses. Without using the notebook to manipulate his abilities, he can just lift an entire galaxy for some unexplainable goddamn reason. And with the notebook, he can easily make himself change size, time travel, give super speed, and of course, who can forget, he can just add the word dead in front of whoever he wants and kills them instantly. And I think because of all of this, that this character from a semi-obscure DS puzzle game series is one of the most powerful entities ever conceived. Thankfully, we don't ever have to worry about Maxwell unleashing his wrath anytime soon for two major reasons. The first one, of course, is the fact that this is a game. Remember, it's not real, alrighty tidy, very crazy, and unexpected, I'm sure. But if you remember in Scribblenauts Unlimited, their dad knew that they could turn Lily into stone because Maxwell would for sure save the day and then they would go hip hip hooray. He wanted Maxwell to knock that shit off, and wouldn't you know it, the thought of his sibling being stone forever and having to live with that guilt for the rest of his life was enough for him to knock that shit off. The ending of Scribblenauts Unlimited shows the two siblings being nice to everyone and realizing being nice is pretty nice and they want to treat others how they want to be treated. And justifiably, they turn their dad's underwear drawer into stone, but otherwise they forgive him for that pretty bad and then alright situation for a parent. And this is why Maxwell is a pretty cool dude in the rest of this series. In Scribblenauts Unmasked, because of his stupid kid brain was just molded by this massively traumatic event, just enough to where he could realize the wrongdoings of his past and wouldn't just kill Superman again like I thought. He's overall just a good kid now. Though I think he's still stupid, because in the fights against the DC villains, he could have easily just done stuff like shrink them or make them like really unsmart. Then he could have easily just made himself a genius, and using the notebook, he could have just solved all problems everywhere in like 26.5 minutes. It's a minute and a half more than becoming the ruler of the universe, but I think the trade-off is way better. And he's basically like this in all other games in the future. In Scribblenauts Remix, he's solving more problems like usual, and in Scribblenauts Showdown, which is a game I didn't know existed until I said this sentence, he does mini games with his family, and I'm gonna be honest, this is just a mini game collection. There's not much substance. This is just a mini game collection in the world of Scribblenauts. This could have been Buzz Monkey Jungle Party 2, and virtually nothing could have changed. In conclusion, Scribblenauts is a game with a thing that I thought about for too long, and I thought a funny rooster-hatted kid with a funny book was one of the strongest characters in all of existence, and realistically I should have thought about overthinking my overthinking before I overthought, because Scribblenauts is a pleasant series that you don't need to take seriously, and you can just enjoy it if you want, like I do. Well, that's gonna do it all for now. Join me next time when I talk about something funny, hopefully. I'm just gonna hang out here and make some genuine Italian cuisine and hope the entire country can forgive me, starting with me boiling some pre-made store-bought spaghetti noodles. Uh-oh. I think think I did something wrong, boys and girls. Guys, I don't think I'm making it out of this one. Oh man, the Italians are coming. Oh no! Oh no!